Hi. Hello. Okay. My name is Teresa Micheletti, and this site is called Take What Rings True. So today I want to talk about negative implants. Negative implants can be very harmful to you and to your body. It can even cause sickness. So, negative implants are thoughts, ideas that people tell you, statements people make that you take as your truth, and then it affects you later on. So, if your mother says you can't go outside because if you get cold and this mist right now, then you are going to get sick. So, you take that as your truth, and that creates an opportunity in your body for you to get sick. Actually, that's a wives' tale that if you're in misty cold, then you're going to get sick. But people believe it and take it as their truth. And then it creates this little tiny opportunity for any germs that are around. It's like, oh, this person is accepting getting a cold, and it comes to you. It's like self fulfilling prophecy. Not that it always happens, but implants are happening all the time. If you sit in front of a draft, you're going to get a cold. These are minimal negative implants. It's like being brainwashed. And it happens from the time we're a tiny kid. So, drafts do not cause colds, but does allow an opportunity if you accept that idea. It's like you're waiting for it, you're expecting it. So it comes about. You are a powerful, powerful creator. And if you create what you don't want, that's not very good. So take a breath. When someone says something to you, decide if it's true or not. I've talked about this in the form of health. Um, when I crushed my wrist, the doctor said at the emergency room, said, "Oh, you're going to get arthritis." I said, "No, I'm not going to get arthritis." So you have to take what people say and don't just take it in. Monitor, reflect. Is that your truth or not? If it's not your truth, let it go. Don't accept it. So when someone comes up to you and says something, they may be doing it with the best of intentions. But sometimes when people come up and give you some statement, it's really reflecting something about them and what's true for them or what they believe. And it's not necessarily true for you or for the world. They're negative implants. So if you figure out that you have a negative implant, then you need to negate it. Tell yourself that's not my truth. Rahim, this is the one who talked about negative implants. One of my mentors, Sylvia Brown, would go into a trance and sit on a bench on the other side, not remember anything. Her spirit guide, one of them, Rahim, would come in and talk to us. And he talked about negative implants. And he said that in Samaria, ancient Samaria, they would have a practice where they put their finger over their third eye and negated what was said. Well, that's rather like Rahim saying, if you hear something or start in your mind saying something that you don't want to accept, then you can snap an elastic bracelet. You can eject the audio playing in your head. You know how darkness, you may not believe in dark entities, but darkness will play things in your head. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. You can't do this. Uh, you aren't able to do this. No one's going to support you. Whatever it is that would trigger you, they play it in your head. And you can think of ejecting that audio that's playing in your head. Well, the Sumerians would touch their third eye. Now, it could be you don't have to do this in major public. I'm going to touch my third eye and negate this. No, just like, you're like brushing your forehead. You can do it in a big crowd. Nobody's going to know. So when you say something to somebody, it's the other person's responsibility to accept it or not. Now, if you're saying it with good intention and you believe it, your motivation is good. And you should not feel guilty if you find out later that that's not true. Like if you walk in a misty, cold environment, that you're going to get a cold. So decide what's true for you. And don't let other people give you negative implants. So if someone gives you a negative implant and you realize, no, that's not my truth. If it's your friend or someone that you are around all the time, tell them, I'm not going to accept this. That's not my truth. If you don't say those words, then you need to do the press your third eye, eject that audio, snap that thing, something so that you stop and negate that idea from planting in you. Sometimes when people say things like, oh, all your family has diabetes, you're going to get diabetes. Well, no. Say that's not your truth. Eject it. You don't have to accept those negative implants. If you accept that you're going to get diabetes, then you've told your body that's what you're going to get. And it gets planted somewhere in your body. So that idea is stored in your body because cells have memories. There's morphic resonances from experiences, and you store those things. So you need to get those out of there, get it out. So one thing you can do is say, if I have any negative cell memory that is unneeded, that I can get rid of, I want my spirit guide and my angel to help me to get rid of that. You can put your hand on your heart and say, I don't accept any negative cell memory. I want it to be removed. And it will be. You can also just ask for your spirit guide or your angel to help you get rid of it. Just negate it. If you feel that you have accepted something that's not true, then negate it. There's also morphic resonance, and that could be from this lifetime or a past lifetime. Well, the negative cell memory can also be from past lifetimes. You may not believe in past lives. I didn't either for a long time until it was validated by my mom. So, past lives. Ask for any negative morphic resonance, which is experiences. Okay, say a cat scratched your cheek. So now you don't like cats in this lifetime. Well, that's not a bad thing. I mean, you can get along without having cats around you, but you can also just negate that experience that you've stored somewhere. So, morphic resonance is an experience or a time or something that triggers you, and you don't need that. So, let go of it. So, ask for any negative morphic resonance to be eliminated. And the same thing, you can talk to your spirit guide, you can talk to your angel, you can negate it with touching your forehead, doing your bracelet. You can use a rubber band around your wrist and snap that. You can just say adamantly, this is not my truth. I want it eliminated. Ask the angels to help you eliminate it. There's also positive morphic resonance. So say, I talked about this last week, I think. You were an opera singer, and every time you sing, you feel joyous. Well, you were an opera singer in your last life and you felt joyous, so you're joyous in this life. That's positive morphic resonance. Maybe you were a hiker in the last life. Maybe you took people up to Mount Everest, and it just made you feel good. Well, then in this life, when you take a hike, you probably feel good. That's good morphic resonance. That's a good resonance of an experience. But we want to get rid of the negative morphic resonance, the negative implants that have been put in from an experience, because you don't want to repeat those and you don't want to feel bad in some way because of it. So you can think of putting your finger over your heart and saying, I have not accepted this negative implant into my heart chakra. Or do it over your stomach, your solar plexus. I have not accepted this negative implant into my solar plexus. So those are the two most vulnerable chakras that have things connected to them that you don't need to have connected. So whatever area you think is being affected, because often if you're storing something in your stomach area, then you start getting problems with your stomach, your intestinal tract, maybe your kidney. Now, what I'm saying right now is an implant. So if it's not your truth, you need to say that. But in being a hypnotist, often when people have some kind of issue with their body that the doctors can't figure out, it's because it's a memory and it's a morphic resonance or a cell memory. And if we go back in a regression to that point where it all started, we can also ask for where are you storing it in your body? And the client will tell you, I'm storing it right here. I'm storing it in my stomach. I'm storing it in my arm. I'm storing it wherever it is. And past life memories often are stored somewhere in your body. So you just need to ask for all the morphic resonance, all the negative cell memory to be removed. Those are implants from this life or from another life. So you don't have to name all of them. So Rahim, the spirit guide, said that when a negative implant is in your body, that when it gets triggered again, he said it's like pinballs, or I like to think of it, you've probably seen this experiment. There's a room full of ping pong balls. They're all quiet. Then somebody like snaps a mousetrap or throws a ball or does something, and then all the balls start moving around. That's because when your body is triggered, it can often affect your body. You're not in stasis, you're not calm. All of a sudden, somebody triggers you and it makes you out of balance. Now, I can have an experience and it does nothing to me. The person standing next to me can have that same experience and it just triggers them. That's because they've had different experiences in this life and in past lives. And so they have different things that will set them off, like the ping pong balls. So if you realize that you're getting a negative implant, say you have a boss, you're a great employee, you have a boss who all of a sudden gives you a negative review. You read it. Don't take that in. If it's not your truth, then negate that implant. It's like, that's not true. That's not my truth. So eject it from your forehead or think of your third eye as, it's not my truth. I'm not taking that in. It's not something that's true for me. Let it go. And in life, often you'll have experiences where someone will say something, do something that's not your truth. So negate it. Now, if it's a small thing, some little kid comes up and says, you have ugly shoes. Well, you know that's not, that could be silly. You just eliminate that. You don't even think about it. It's automatically that idea goes off and away. Now, you may take that little kid's value as being true. You have ugly shoes. Well, then make a decision about that. Do you want to accept that idea or not? Do you want to go put on some other shoes or get rid of those shoes? That's fine. But don't automatically accept what people say. So you take charge of you. Eliminate and not accept negative implants. So when you go through your life from now on and someone says something or someone reminds you of something, check. Is that my truth? I'm not going to get diabetes just because the rest of my family has diabetes. That's not true. But, you know, um, and as an example, people will say that. Or I'm going to lose all my hair because all males in my family have lost all their hair. Well, then program to keep your hair. I'm going to get a heart attack because my dad had a heart attack. Everybody, all the males have died by age 55. So I'm going to die by 55 because everybody's died by 55. No, you are a separate entity. Don't accept that negative implant. It's easy to get rid of it if it's absurd or silly. But if it makes any semblance of sense, then you need to stop and think. Is that your truth? Do you want to accept that as your truth? Don't get triggered by those things. Don't allow those to settle in on your body. My mentor, Sylvia, would say, tell them you're adopted. You are really God's child. A certain mom and dad came into this life to be your mom and dad, but really you are God's child. So just tell the doctor you're adopted, or tell yourself, I am God's child. I am not going to inherit all these things from people. Of course, you can keep the good ones. Your your mom was so eloquent. You must be eloquent too. Well, then take that one on. That's a positive implant, not a negative implant. But don't accept those negative implants. It can make you sick, make you feel awful. I just talked to somebody this morning about that. Okay, Joseph Campbell was an author and a philosopher, and many of his books talk about vaguely, not directly, but talk about dogmatic rule overshadowing things. And that we take dogma, like dogma would be things like the rules of the church. So, like in some churches, you can't cut your hair if you're a woman. You have to have a hat over your head. You have to, there's certain rules that you have to follow. Well, God did not make those rules. So decide which ones are true for you. I mean, if you want to wear a hat, you want to not cut your hair, that's fine. But don't do it because someone decided that was your lot in life, that's what you needed to do. Often people tell you stuff that you don't need to do. Decide for yourself what is true for you. What is true for you? What are you going to allow to be part of you? So, negative implants, newspapers, television news has always been full of negative implants, negative news. Sensational news sells the news. People's misfortune is likely to be reported first. Telling all the good stuff does not get people to watch the television program. Unless you're in it, like you were in a parade, and so you want to watch that television coverage of the parade. But usually it's the misfortune, the sadness, the catastrophe. That's what they're reporting in the news. Raheem, the mentor that I was talking about, that talked about negative implants, was talking about yellow journalism. That's about, 70 years ago. They started doing yellow journalism. And he said it should be called dark entity journalism because it pounces on things and reports the negative and deep dives into the negative and not necessarily true. You know how it's reported often that Oh, they have to do a disclaimer in the news because they reported something incorrectly, because they want to be the first to report it. So, how do you get rid of the negativity? You can also say any negative plant that I have, I want it to be psychically and surgically removed. And then press your forehead, press your heart, and ask for it to be removed. Your guides and your angels will help you to let go of it. What I would like you to do is I would like you to pray for the white entities that are out there alone, who are in the middle of some community, some state, some area, and have no connection to anyone who believes that there's other things possible. They have never talked to any Gnostics. They have never talked to any or been around anyone who's a white light. I remember when I used to go across the United States and do past life regressions, there are some cities in the middle of America, usually, where they feel so alone. The clients would feel so alone. It's like no one believes what I believe. No one understands where I'm coming from. No one understands how I feel. And they are just like disconnected. Actually, I live on the coast in California, and I have a friend who's about 45 minutes away. And I accidentally, there's no accidents. I took a class and she was in the class, and I can see through the veil. So I could see her coming in, and here's Rahim, the guy I'm talking about, that was helpful, and a whole entourage of spirits with her. Well, when I got to know her, she felt so alone because there was no one around her who was spiritual, and she didn't know what to do about it because she was isolated. And people who are isolated and white entities, we need to pray for every day because they can feel like they're going insane. Some of them are even put into mental institutions because they don't believe what everybody else believes. Okay, enough of that. Now, free floating negative thoughts. You know, we project ideas, we project feelings. If you have ever experienced a psychic attack, someone is sending energy. It may be intentional or it may be accidental. But if somebody is sending negative thoughts like, oh, I don't like that person, I'm jealous of that person, I don't want them to feel good, it may just be uh, an unintentional thing, like I'm jealous of that person. They keep sending that idea. You walk through that space, you catch that negative thought, and it can affect you. You pick them up in, it's called the ethers. You know, you're just walking around. It's like radio waves. So we should check ourselves. Are we coming across a feeling of I'm being attacked or I have the flu or something? It's not the flu. I talked to somebody this week. She thought she had the flu for 2 days. She thought she had the flu. She was feeling horrendous. She was being psychically attacked. And it's okay, sidelight. Psychic attack is when there's a negative implant from someone intentionally, usually, sending you negative thoughts. And it usually affects your stomach or your head. So you have a horrible headache or you have a horrible stomach ache, and you just need to say, if this is negativity, if this is a psychic attack, I want it to go away. Take it away. Talk to your spirit guide, talk to your angel. And often, in the olden days, I would contact a couple of my friends. So there's three of us, me and two other people, Trinity. I like Trinities. And ask them to help me get rid of the negative thoughts. Because sometimes when you're being psychically attacked, you can hardly think. You can't put two thoughts together. So if I contacted my friends, then they would help me get rid of the negative attack. You can also do, talked about this before, a blanket statement like, Code blue. I think I did a whole talk on this. Code blue, code green, code whatever you want to call it. So you set up your protections, your tools for protection, whatever tools you want. Or maybe it's just for psychic attacks. If you're going to negate the psychic attack, then you just say to your guide, help me with the attack. And it automatically allows them, gives them permission to clear your system, to clear the negative energy, to negate the negative implants, whatever it is. And then you just say whatever the code word is. So think of a code word. I have one for tools for protection. So all the tools I want each day, I just say code blue, and then all those come into being. Maybe you want one for healing, the code green or code healing, whatever it is. And all those things, you could write them down. This is all the stuff that I want to happen if I have a negative implant. This is all the stuff I want to happen if I'm psychically attacked. This is all the stuff I want to happen if I feel like whatever you want to negate. So you have a different one, a different code for each experience. But I highly suggest one for tools for protection, because then you can ask code blue, and then all that stuff just floods through you, clearing your system, checking your auric field, making your aura strong, clearing attacks, cementing your emotion and intellect, removing all negative cell memory, removing negative implants, etc., etc., etc. Whatever it is you want, and you can revise it. So, free floating negative thoughts. It's possible to get negative vibrations, negative thoughts by just walking through them. So, I believe there are dark entities. I can see them. So, if you don't believe it, that's fine. But you can ask for the Mother Goddess. I call Asna to intercede. You can put white light, a bubble of white light around you, and ask for the white light to infuse your whole body. You can put silver meshing around you. It's like, what do you call that? The stuff they would wear under armor. I can't remember it, but it looks like mesh. Anyway, you put that protection around you. You can plant columns of platinum light within you. You can plant columns of platinum light in the corners of your room. So it's much like you go into this very dark room and we give you a match or a lighter or a candle so you can see, a torch, so you can get through that point in time when there's darkness within you and without. Now, we're in a new time. This has always been a dark planet. Noir. I think I'll talk about that next time. Noir. Anyway, this is a time of fighting good and evil. So we need to band together. All the white lights need to band together and support each other. So when you pray, think of all the other white lights being with you. Francine, another guide, would say, think of a necklace, and each pearl is someone in your group, all the white lights, all the Gnostics, all the mystical travelers, whatever, and all of them are praying with you so that you have the energy of others to help you with your prayer. So if you're having trouble, great trouble with negativity, then ask for all those other white lights to be part of your energy and send that petition out to God. Ask your spirit guide and your angel to help you, of course. But there are negative people in this world who get a kick out of making your life miserable. Religious groups, businesses, bosses, even ministers who pride themselves on being ruthless. Now, they're probably sociopathic, but they'll come with a flowering face, as if I'm a saint. So monitor what people say to you. Monitor and reflect. If it's something that's not your truth, snap that bracelet, eject that idea, and don't accept it. Ask your spirit guides to help you. So just because someone says something does not make it true. And just because it's your mom saying it, she may believe it, but it may not be true. If it's not your truth, then don't accept it. We're in a time of great change. Obviously, the world is changing, fires, earthquakes, volcanoes, but this is a time of good and evil. We're transitioning to the new dimension. We're transitioning to a higher vibration. And this is the last chance for darkness to rise up. So they're attacking everybody. So don't accept it. Negate it. Negate it, negate it, negate it. You have power over your body, your vehicle that you're in. Don't let the negativity, the darkness, the negative implants hinder your soul. Your soul is precious. Ask for your guide and your angel to help you to negate all negative cell memory, all negative morphic resonance, and any dark implants, any negative implants. Have them help you. They're here to help you. So don't just accept the negativity. It doesn't matter if you're alone. It doesn't matter if you're with a large group. Maybe people are not cooperating with you, but don't be wimpy. Don't be wimpy. If the people around you are not supporting you, then you call on that necklace of pearls. Call on the white lights, and they will attend you. They will help you with your prayers. They will help you send energy. Just like we can get negative thoughts coming to us, we can also get positive thoughts coming to us. So when you send that out to the universe that you want all the white lights to be praying with you, you want all the mystical travelers to be praying with you, all the whatever you want to call in, then entities, souls will hear you. White lights will hear you. Their soul, their higher self, will recognize that someone's calling to them and add their energy. They don't have to consciously know it's happening. Unconsciously, their higher selves, their soul knows. So gather in your troops, gather in your support system. It's available to you. And know that you are so much more powerful than you think you are. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for spending this time because it's been a long one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you next Wednesday. I think I'll talk about Noir. So I'll talk about this planet. Thank you. Bye.